I'm a firm believer that the most productive and profitable companies are the ones where people feel the best at work, and that productivity is something that goes up dramatically when people are connected to a common vision.
And I sometimes say now that instead of defining success by the size of my wallet, I define it by the size of my smile.
No success in business will ever overcome failure in the home. And that's something that I think about quite often.
And it really is an evolution in terms of my own thinking, because I certainly suffered from a degree of workaholism that cost me my health, certainly cost me my marriage, and it almost cost me my children.
There I was selling the company on my own with nothing to do, with a wife that wasn't living with me. I'm living in a basement of a buddy's and kids that won't talk to me.
I spend a whole heck of a lot of time on strategic planning in my organization. I have never done a strategic plan with my wife.
If your home life isn't going to work, I don't think your business life is going to work either. You have to have integrity in both. So Keith worked with both of my sons, and both of them it really worked out well. Actually, the last 2 years have probably been the best years of my marriage too.
I took my first company public when I was 22. We eventually sold that business to Bendix, which is a big American car parts manufacturer. Went to law school. Like the rest of us in the room, have had some challenges, and with the assistance of Keith and other great partners, have got to where I am today.
Talking about contribution earlier, I was sitting here at a loss because I like all the business that I've done and I enjoy every day and every minute that I spend at it. But my greatest contribution for the next, it'll be 10 and 12 years, which is going to bring my kids to 18, and kind of look at my job as a parent, as a citizen, to raise good kids and set them up to be good adults. And so the energy that comes, to drive forward on the entrepreneurship side is all from my family. And so to find that balance, which as everybody at this table knows, you have to be disciplined about finding it. But I think that's where the energy to go is from family and friends. I mean, that's what keeps you going every day.
I'm not sure if without coaching it would have happened, but it definitely was made possible. It wasn't comfortable, but it was possible to step over that abyss as a result of the coaching.
For me, what coaching has done is create that brilliant balance to help me manage all these really three facets of my life. My business, my children who are living with me right now, and learning what it's like to be a single dad, and managing this, the separation.
And if we could live our lives that help people out, go out of our way to make it a better day for somebody else, that's when we're really making substantial, significant changes and really doing something with the lessons that we've learned in life.
My own experience with coaching, at First Energy, we had some pretty high-powered guys making more money in a year than their fathers had ever made in a lifetime. And so the screw you mentality came in when it came to decision making. And so it was tough trying to keep everybody going in the same direction. And out of the 15 years I was there, I think 3/4 of that time we had outside coaches trying to keep us together. But for me, none of those coaches worked. I was never able to connect. Then one day I was out on a horseback ride with a guy I hadn't seen in 15 years. And I don't know how we got onto the conversation, but we hadn't been speaking for 3 or 4 minutes before we asked, all right, business aside, personally, and he said, well, that's not so good. Looks like my wife and I are going to separate. And I said, well, I divorced a few years ago, I understand the drill. And then I said, I've even got a situation where my own daughter won't call me back. And he looked at me and there was a tear in his eye and he said, well, mine won't either. But he said, I'm working on it. I said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I've hired a coach.
I was told early on that I was uncoachable. And so I have had coaches and I have fired coaches. And the thing that entrepreneurs, and I speak for myself, my inability to surrender to a process that leads to greater understanding is likely the most difficult thing. And you do a world-class job facilitating that, so I do want to thank you for that.
So I said, who's the coach? He told me it was Keith Hanna. That was on a Saturday. By Monday at noon, I had hired Keith Hanna, and I'm forever in your debt.